Hi, I'm Stephanie J. Block.
And I'm Mary Lee Fairbanks.
Welcome to Season 3 of Stages Podcast,
where we continue to bring creation and connection to center stage. Somebody wrote under, I put a birthday thing out for you, and somebody wrote under it, okay, I need to see the two of you in Grey Gardens. That's the revival I need to see. I'm like,
yeah. Bring it. Girl, I will strut a bra hat like nobody. Okay, Wicked fans, do you consider yourself a green girl? And if so, are you a wizard and I, a defying gravity, or a no good deed Elphie? Do you prefer to travel by bubble or broom? Do you try to work the word congratulations, which I just did, into most conversations, whether you are discussing musical theater or not? Then this conversation is literally designed just for you. Kevin Bianchi and Quincy Brown, die-hard Wicked fans, decided to bring their knowledge and create a podcast, Sentimental Men. Wicked is what unites them, fuels their friendship, invites and infects, in the best way, their listeners. And with this podcast, they fulfill the wish of every Aussian to get in-depth, long-form interviews with some of Wicked's leading ladies. In partnership with Theaterly, they now have over 50 episodes, including a little chat with me, and they literally knew more about the show than I did. They have huge opinions, hilarious quips, gorgeous smiles, and it doesn't hurt my ego that they do consider me the patron saint of their friendship. So in honor of National Wicked Day, October 30th, please welcome the Sentimental Men, Kevin and Quincy.
Quincy Brown and Kevin Bianchi to stage, please. Can we have our sentimental men to stage?
Hello, you two.
Hi.
Hello. We are honored to be here today.
Truly right after you're here.
I know. Right off the bat, who would you say is more sentimental? Who's more tender of the two of you?
Kevin, for sure.
Are you?
Yeah.
Have you always been, you're wearing it on your sleeve all the time, even when you were young?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I think like when I was very young, and then probably not so much in like high school, college years. And then I think more so I'm back to having my heart on my sleeve now in my 30s. I feel like I've opened back up.
And the circle that surrounds you supports that, loves you for that, and you never feel like you have to shield that in any way.
Yeah, no, not in my circle. I feel good. It makes me feel like I have like found the good people, one of whom is Quincy Brown.
Your tribe.
And I've heard the story before, but how did you find each other?
Let's do it. So I was a bright, young, spry college kid. I think I was going into my senior year of college. So I had already interned at New York City Center in the marketing department, which, Stephanie, is actually where you and I met. And there's a fun story. As an intern, they were like, you cannot ask any of the celebrities to take a photo, because we were doing social content and whatnot.
First of all, celebrity makes me cringe.
Well, so they gave us this whole scary speech, and then we were riding up the elevator to shoot some videos for you for Brigadoon. And as we were in the elevator, I was like, I'm about to meet Stephanie J. Block. I need to ask to have a photo with her. So I was working up the courage to ask my supervisor if I could ask you for a picture. And in the elevator, I finally like choke up the ask, and she goes, oh, yeah. You can ask her for a photo. I meant like Jake Gyllenhaal. You should probably be a little more careful.
You know what? I actually agree with all of that. There are definitely two camps, and celebrity is that. But I love that you thought I was one back in the day.
It made my life.
Yeah. See, a celebrity doesn't remember what they wore to a press event like that. And this little jerk goes, oh, yeah, the red, white, and blue sweater, a little pair of jeans. Oh, I had to talk in accents. Like I can literally drop myself right in the moment and go, Celebrities don't know that stuff.
So anyway, so I had finished my internship at City Center, knew I wanted to keep doing this theater marketing thing, applied at Roundabout where Kevin was working as a marketing assistant. So he interviewed me, and we go into the interview and it was great. It goes well. And Kevin, you take it from here.
So then my last question of every interview was always, what's your favorite play or musical, just to kind of like wrap things up.
Yeah.
And Quincy says Wicked. And immediately without missing a beat, I say, me too, who's your favorite Elphaba?
You're starting to tingle.
Yeah, I'm like, right, like the energies are starting to align.
Would it be terribly inappropriate if I hugged you right now?
Can I come on that side of the table? And Quincy, well, I don't know if you want to tell this part about your answer.
Well, first I go
explain it for you.
I was like, this is gonna sound basic because I do think people get a little bit of hate for saying their favorite musical is Wicked, even though it is kind of the obvious answer. So I was like, this is gonna sound basic, but my favorite musical is Wicked, and I do have a love for it in a deeper way than I think your like average person would love Wicked. And he asked me who my favorite Elphaba was, and I immediately, the wheel started turning because I'm trying to impress him and get the internship. And I was like, I can't say Idina Menzel because that is the go-to answer. Of course, you would say Idina Menzel. So I start thinking, what would be an impressive Elphaba to say? And I immediately go to Willemijn Verkijk because she's done
that's
it.
very impressive. Just
Right.
pronouncing her name is like, it's impressive. What year is this? Can I interject? What year?
2018.
18.
Oh, golly. Okay.
Not
So we've
long
been
ago.
running for almost 15 years. Wicked's been up and going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
There's a lot of
options.
Elfies to choose from. Yeah.
But I'm thinking Willemijn Verkijk, she's done it in so many languages. That is an educated answer to give to someone who knows Wicked. So I say that. And then I ask Kevin, who's your favorite? And we are sitting under, in the Roundabout Theater offices, a photo of Stephanie J.
Huge.
Block as Drood on the wall. So Kevin
Like
references
bigger than
up,
life size.
and he goes, well, Stephanie J. Block. And I freaked out as if you would pop up in the room and strike me down there. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I blanked on saying Stephanie J. Block. This is so embarrassing. And the rest is kind of history from there.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Did you go for coffee after that? Like, then what happens? Like,
Well,
where does the conversation lead in order to build an entire podcast together?
Yeah.
Well, so then I booked the internship, and Kevin and I really bonded over the summer around Smash, Team Ivy, Team Karen.
Great. We'll talk about that since that's coming in.
Yeah. Ariana Grande, she was releasing her album Sweetener, so that was big for us.
Which
in
again,
bonding.
like
Your
it all
worlds are
comes
colliding.
back.
Mhm.
It was all
Yeah,
in
so
place.
we spent a summer together, became really close friends, and then I had to go
And
back.
Adina was doing a play that summer at
Adina was doing
Roundabout.
Skin Tight.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
So it all was aligned, I think, from the very beginning.
Yeah. So we stayed friends even when I went back to college. I came down over Easter weekend to see you in the Share Show, Stephanie, with Kevin.
Guys, that
And
doesn't
then-
seem like that long ago. And yet,
I know. Isn't that funny? It feels
No.
like forever ago on one hand, and on the other hand, it's like yesterday.
You blinked.
it
Yeah.
is.
So when did the podcast idea come up? Was
That came up during the pandemic. I had
Mhm.
moved
Same with
home
us.
to really. I feel like a lot of podcasts were born during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had moved home to Hawaii. The COVID of it all started. I came home for 3 weeks thinking I would just stick out the 3 weeks in Hawaii and then come back to New York. 3 weeks turned into 9 months.
Mhm.
Kevin and I were texting every day about just stupid musical theater, Wicked stuff. And then one day I jokingly was like, we should start a podcast where we interview Elphabas. And
Yeah.
Kevin took it very seriously.
That's you, Mary Lee.
That's
Really.
what happened.
I mentioned something, and she's the one that's like, so I've spoken with a lawyer, so we're going to LLC, and then we're going to have our next meeting.
Well, I had said to her, we should do a podcast. She's like, let's call it Stages. I'm like, okay, whether or not you do this podcast with me, I'm stealing the name and it's not mine.
Yes.
And I'm doing a podcast. Are you in? She's like, yeah, I'm in. I'm not doing any computer stuff. And I go, give me 2 weeks. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, I have
And
a lawyer, I have a
literally-
theme song, I have a website, I have a She's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I go, you can't back out now. I will kill you. I've did
So
all
that's
this work.
Kevin. That's the Kevin.
Yes.
Uh,
I would
yeah,
say
I
that's
would-
very much our dynamic. We're like,
Okay.
I talk and Kevin does.
Yeah. Quincy's ideas, I think, and I'm execution.
Kevin, we need to talk. You and I need to hang out. a
Yes,
little
we'll
bit, get some-
connect.
We're going to get some work done, baby. I want to
And
ask
is
a
it-
question though about Hawaii. Can I just go back?
Yeah.
Are you? What island are you? Do you live on?
I'm from Oahu in a beach town called Kailua. That's where I live.
What a great place to grow up.
It's funny because you don't have an appreciation for it, I think, until you leave and get the context of what the rest of the mainland is like. Like, I
Yeah.
remember my first time in Poughkeepsie, I was driving through and I was just like, oh my God, do people live like
this? It's so funny. I grew up in Boston, but after I graduated college, I went backpacking and I spent a year in Tahiti. Moorea was the island that I was on. And I just kept thinking, I could live on this island for the rest of my life. I could never leave an island, and it's just surrounded by ocean. And it's just, I can't think of a better place to live. Now I don't know why I don't live on a beautiful island somewhere.
Well, I think being young, it's tricky because you see all of the media and all of the fun stuff that happens on the mainland, and Hawaii is pretty isolated from it. Like even getting Wicked didn't happen until I was like a junior in high school. You know,
what do they call it? Rock rot when you get aggravated on an island.
Yeah, island fever.
Island fever. Yeah.
I would have accepted that tour in a hot rock minute. Where are you from, Kevin?
I'm from New Jersey, which is
Italian. You're in Jersey.
Yes. Quite a different beach situation than Quincy grew up with. Very much not as picturesque at all.
You went to the shore.
I went to the shore. Yeah.
But I went to the shore for the first time this summer, and it's great. You have the beach, you have bars
I love
right
the
across
shore.
the street. Yeah.
You love the Jersey Shore. Give a good hot. They really do have good hot dogs. That is not. I'm not saying that just to be silly. Like it's really good. There's actually some fine dining. You know, Vivi was born in New Jersey, so she'll always be
a Jersey girl.
A Jersey girl.
Honorary.
There you go. Yep. Okay, going back to 50 interviews, which when you hear that number, does that feel like you've put in the work for 50 interviews? Or are you like, holy crap, 50 interviews?
A little of each, I think. It amazes me that we've done over 50 interviews and it's still fresh. Like that like the fact that we keep finding new things to talk about feels really great. But then when I look back, I do feel like we've done the work of 50 episodes, not in a grueling way, but to look back and be like, wow, we really have worked very hard at this for 3 years. But I don't feel like, we've done 50 episodes.
Do you feel like there's a common thread that most of the witches, whether they be green or pink, speak to, whether it's the rehearsal process or something on stage, something that kind of unites all of us?
Well, I think the most obvious maybe is both the roles are such behemoths and kind of like, I think some of the hardest roles to play in the musical theater canon. And that I think has really unified all the actresses we've talked to, where they're like, yes, this was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my career. I'm so proud that I was able to accomplish that. And then I'm also so happy that I have this other group of women who know what that experience exactly is. And I mean, they talk about it all the time, the witch sisterhood, but
sisterhood or the sorority.
But it's so real in talking to these women. Like everyone has their different Elphaba and Glinda confidants that they kind of get to bitch with and commiserate with, and who understand exactly what that experience is.
It is a unique position to be in. And it blows my mind now that I don't even know. Do you guys know how many Elphabas there have been and how many? Because when I did it, I think there were maybe 6 of us in total worldwide. And then to know now that it's like in the numbers of 30s, maybe
at least,
is shocking to me. But yes, that understanding of this is the mammoth role for both witches in different ways, and how you feel so alone while you're doing it. Like, how can I possibly, even from the effect everybody's saying good night, goodbye, see you tomorrow, and you're still in the shower scrubbing off your green, you're like, God damn it, why am I the only one that's having to go through this?
You know, Stephanie, I remember years ago when you must have been doing it, and you and I went out for a coffee and I was asking you about it. And you said, oh my God, it's the makeup. I literally have taken to telling people that I'm a circus clown.
I have. Y'all, maybe I told this story on your podcast, but when we would tour and Wicked was still, it's so anticipated, which I guess even 20 years later, it sells out like right away. But I would go, I had it in my contract that I had a wellness allowance, and that could be either, massages or facials or whatnot. So I don't know, once a month I'd get a facial. You'd end up with somebody, they would be super confused with the green and your hairline and within your ear and your nose cavity and all that. And instead of saying you're playing, on tour in Wicked, where inevitably they would ask you questions during your facial,
Yeah,
where you
zillion
just
Spend the whole
questions.
facial talking about
or
the
they
same
want
things.
tickets. How do you get tickets? If you
Right.
just say you're a clown, there are no follow-up questions. And then you get to just scrub a dub and have her clean your pores, and there's nothing else that goes along with it.
I
So
think
yes.
you must have told me that like 20 years ago, and I still remember. I just remember laughing my head
So
off in the
funny.
coffee shop.
To be completely transparent, Seb and I still have a backup. So if we're somewhere and we look around the room and we understand that the energy of the room will change, if they go,
Yeah.
gosh, you guys, you look familiar to me. Do we know? If we say we're actors, it's all going to stop. And that's just
Right.
not where we live in,
Yeah.
outside of the social standing of show business. We own a pool cleaning business, freshwater pools. Yeah, we do.
Freshwater pool.
Yes. And we thought about it. We were like, should we be oyster farmers? Because very few people know about that. So our answers, but it's too interesting. People
Right, that's
love
questions.
to- yes.
Mhm.
But if you just own a pool cleaning business and you start
Right,
to
people
learn
know
about
what
this,
pool cleaning is.
yes. And it's natural water. So you just have to test the acidity
don't have
and the
to
salt
answer it.
level and the Yeah. And we have it.
But do you get follow-up questions? I'm sure
A
you've got
few,
it.
but then nobody cares. But if you're a therapist, follow-up questions. If
Mhm.
you're, in accounting, inevitably taxes will come up. Like there will always be pool cleaning.
Taxes.
No. Have you gotten yourself a really good net? Okay. Well, first work on that. Check your filters. Is there a residue on your tile? Because that residue could possibly say that there's too much calcium and minerals in here.
Oh my
And then that's
God.
it. We move on.
You know what you should do is
Oh,
start
my
bringing,
goodness.
those little things you can get them on Amazon where it drapes over the side so that the frogs that fall in your pool can like have a little step ladder out. You need
Yeah.
to, recommend those and move
Also
on.
accessories. I ain't too proud. I just outed myself though, so people
Yeah.
now know.
You gotta
We
think
have
of
to
a
go
new
back to being
profession.
a clown. I'm going back to a clown. Going back to a clown. What do you
Yeah,
guys-
but going back to what Kevin was saying about doing 50 episodes and it still feels fresh.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this recently where it's like, yes, we are interviewing these actresses who have all done Wicked. One, I think something great about Wicked is I think it launches actresses' careers by doing the
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
also, I think we're using Wicked just as an entry point to then talk to this actress and learn more about their career and perspective on the
course.
world. And it's just a
Mhm.
common ground for us to like have a jumping off point from.
Of course.
Yes, because if you've got a podcast and you're not looking to the humanity of the person that you're interviewing, that's going to,
Mhm.
you won't get to 50 episodes. You won't
Yeah.
have people listening. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
We
Right.
felt similarly that it kind of was our mission with stages. Of course, the mind goes to show busy and what you've
Mhm.
done as a resume, but we found the same thing. You've got to speak to the stages of their life. You've got to speak to the humanity of
Mhm.
who they are, or else
Mhm.
that will run flat. And,
Yeah.
there's so many options for people to listen to that
Yeah.
I think we both can speak to. Once you get to the heart of the person, that's what really captures an audience and wants them to stick around for 20 to
Mhm.
30 to 70 episodes. Do you enjoy the most kind of the behind the scenes with your actors, or what gets you the
Yeah.
most excited?
I think that's why we work, because we're so different.
Yeah.
And what is interesting to us.
I feel like I am tingliest when we're like talking technique, like when we're talking shop. Like I love to hear either which talking about how they have to sing differently when they're standing on a little platform like this and they can't, stand the way they stand. Or I love hearing about how people navigate coming out like a cannon with the wizard and I, and then warm back up into the show. I just love to hear stuff like that. But then I think Quincy, has a much more like fanatic energy or like fanatic interests.
Yeah. Well, and
But
also
what do
you
think? Yeah.
love the dramaturgy too, Kevin. Like you
Yeah,
will talk
yeah.
dramaturgy for days.
For sure.
I think I mean, ultimately this
Can't help
podcast
it.
is just a lot of inner child healing, I think. So I think there's half of me that is getting the opportunity to ask those questions that I had when I was 12, 14, like the insidery, fanny, specific niche questions. And then also as I've gotten older and started to work in the industry, I am such I'm so fascinated by the inner workings of the industry and the business side of it all as well. And I really love I feel like I spend a lot of time with producers and general managers and hearing their take on the industry. And so getting the opportunity to hear it from the other side and talk to actors and see how they're viewing the industry through that lens is very interesting. And it's cool because in my job, I'm in this position, and by doing this podcast, I put myself in this position where I'm kind of in the middle, and I get both sides of it. And I do think the reality is in the middle of both of these takes. But yeah, I find that very fascinating.
Did either of you aspire to be on stage at any point?
I did.
Kevin, you know
I am a recovering musical theater major, I like to say.
Hi, Kevin. Welcome.
Hi.
Kevin.
No, I grew up just like literally since the VHS of The Wizard of Oz, like loving musicals, loving musical theater. I was very lucky to have a mother who encouraged that. And there were adults in my life that encouraged that. And so I knew I wanted to work in theater and be on Broadway. But to me, that only looked like being an actor because I didn't know what a general manager was. And I didn't know what a box office did or anything like that.
Being from Jersey, when did you start seeing shows?
Probably like kindergarten or first grade.
Wow.
But it was a very rare and special thing growing up. Like I probably like once every couple of years we would go. But yeah, in kindergarten, I saw Eartha Kitt and Mickey Rooney do The Wizard of Oz at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Which was so cool. And that's when I'm like, I wish I could go back now as an adult with an appreciation for those two. But yeah, so I did. There was a chunk of time when I was pursuing life on the stage.
Can I quickly go back when you talk about techniques or tricks, or when you were saying how you would sing when you can't have your stance or your normal posture? If you go back, and you may have already noticed this, and look at different videos that are on YouTube, I do what's called the call, and you'll know when I'm feeling a little tired because you'll see me do this in Defying Gravity. And that is truly a trick. It's not an acting choice. It is when your thumb hits your throat, your body instinctively no longer places the sound there. It will place it in the mask and bring it more forward. At the end of Defying Gravity, that is what I'm doing. It's not an acting choice. It's Mama hanging on Joan.
It's a tool
later.
disguised as an acting
exactly
choice.
Right. That's
it
right.
works.
And a lot of the times I will step back, or like you have to put your body a little bit in motion, lay back on your heels. But on the Defying Gravity platform, you can't move. So it all needed to be based in that upper body way. And so you'll see me do some, they look like, contortions of a sort, but really they are getting those notes out of the throat to cause no damage and place it in the mask.
It's funny.
Wow.
I remember hearing Ben Platt talk about when he was doing Evan Hansen. I mean, the singing in that, again, that is, that guy.
Yeah, that
to
score's
sing that
crazy.
show,
Right.
boy, while crying, full on crying. I remember watching tears drip from his cheeks and land on the thing. And I'm like, how is this? I mean, unbelievable. But he had said that a lot of the quirky gestures and twitches that he gave the character were just to get the sound
support.
out, just to
support.
I gotta move my leg here because I can't hit that without moving my leg. And I thought that's fascinating. And he turned it into part of his quirky character.
And it's almost like we're abusing ourselves or masochistic in a way, because we truly know that these scores are insane. They're insane. And that the little human instrument of the voice shouldn't have to tackle that. Maybe at a one-night concert, right? But to tackle that 8 times a week for a year is not great. The composers know it. The singers know it. Casting knows it. And yet we all just kind of, keep on trucking the way we're trucking. And then at the end of it, we go, that's a badge of honor. I get to wear this.
If you're lucky, it's a badge.
If you're lucky,
right?
Because at all,
a lot of the young people that they cast in Rent blew out their voices for the rest of their lives.
I'm not exposing anything that I don't think a lot of people know, but a lot of the Elfies had to have surgery shortly after as well.
Oh,
yeah.
And we can also look at it. You're an athlete. You're in this career for longer than a handful of years. Injury fatigue is inevitable. It's 100% quote unquote injury rate. Now, to what degree, that's a different
Mhm.
conversation. But when
Mhm.
you are facing down Elphie or sing like that night after night, year after year, it is going to happen. It's just,
Yeah.
what can we do to support these actors to say, okay, we've been watching this happen a little too long. Maybe we can, you know what I mean? Maybe we
Yeah.
can adjust the schedule. Maybe we can lower this down a half step. Because with all due respect, that audience is not going to know the difference between an entire
true.
step. They're not. You two may, and some of the real,
Right.
wicked diehards may.
Yeah.
Are you on
And
board
reduce
with
the
that?
risk that
Stephanie-
the actress has to call out the next day because
Correct.
they pushed through the show. Yeah.
That's right. And it costs them, literally, it costs them money. And usually it's the weekend
Mhm.
because we will push,
Right.
push, and then you're pooped by show number 6. But you're
Mhm.
there, so you're going to do it. And now you're missing Saturday night, Sunday mat. You're going to rest on Monday, pray to God on Tuesday. And usually we all come back a little crickety crackety, but we get there.
But Stephanie, how are you navigating being an actress who has a reputation of being a belty performer now when you are accepting roles? How are you navigating that?
I
Or
know
considering them. Yeah.
I kind of laid the groundwork for that expectation, didn't I?
From the
Well,
get-go.
I'm very, very lucky now that if I am asked to look at a role or start working on a role, I get to be in the room with the musical director, with the director, and I can say, hey, y'all, Betty Buckley sounds like this when she hits this note. I
Mhm.
sound like this, and this is what you're getting. And maybe it's not as nuanced as you want, or maybe it's
Mhm.
not, the sound we're going for with the drama within the song. So we
Mm.
are able to talk different keys. We are able to talk, and I will say, writing on the wall, half step down,
Mhm. Yeah.
holding to the ground, half step down. Now, people may not
Oh.
necessarily hear
Didn't
that,
notice.
but the difference in my voice on these songs, the storytelling completely changed. If I was just
Mhm.
going to sing the notes on that page for me to interpret them honestly, we had to adjust. And I'm
Right.
very lucky.
Get
Will
the
I
period.
say that I still don't get nervous with the expectation, even putting together a song list, a set list when I do my concerts and
Yeah.
going, they're going to want this. They're going to expect this. And I have to navigate. Look, if I'm singing 13 songs, one right after another, they cannot all be 11 o'clock numbers or I
Mhm.
will freaking blow it out.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think you
have to
see
be
that
smart.
every former Elphaba paints himself into that corner with their
We
solo
do.
concerts.
We do. And we're also asked. So if a symphonic or the
Mhm.
pops or somebody calls us up, it's kind of a prerequisite. You are
Yeah.
going to be singing Defying Gravity, whether you want to or not. Is
Cooking
eating
that
But
one
do
out.
you
I'm
feel
eating my peas squished up and still singing Defying Gravity.
Oh my God.
Do
but
I
do you feel
what?
like because you've been doing it for so long, is there like a muscle memory to it, or are you having to re-navigate it every time?
No, there's a muscle memory. That doesn't
Mhm.
mean it's very smart for the 2 songs that come after Defying Gravity. Do you know what I mean? And I'll still implement the original staging because it just helps my body to
Wow.
understand. I would have thrown out
25th
the money.
anniversary. I want to do a reunion concert with all
Do
the Golden
you?
Age girls. Yeah.
They could have that energy would be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it would
Cuckoo.
be. They recently had, I'm divulging all the things. They recently had, how many years ago did they have that concert? And it was hosted by Dee and Kristen. And then they brought in all the Elfies and all the Glendas. that they-
Oh,
It's the Yellow Brick Road.
that was the
not
15th.
Yes. And that invitation was
when they all came out
graciously
to do
offered.
For Good.
Yes.
at
And
the
I will
end.
say, my spirit knew that I was not going to be able to embrace the moment the way I needed to embrace the moment. So
Mhm.
I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I, of course, didn't say, but I don't think
Right.
my energy would be a good one to add to this moment. But I did not have enough grace to show up, y'all. But I wanted to be honest with
Interesting.
myself, and I didn't want to infect the waters, so to say,
Yeah.
So I literally said a prayer from far away. I blessed all the people who I love and embrace. I wanted the event to be amazing. And yet
Yeah.
I knew that my body couldn't stand there in authenticity and just comfort. So
Mhm.
I pulled myself out.
Do you regret that choice?
I don't think so.
Mm.
I don't think so. I watch and I see
It was a
the joy.
necessary growth
Yeah,
step for
right.
you. Yeah.
And there was a joy and a celebration that was happening.
Mhm.
And that I might, who knows, maybe if I showed up,
You were
that would-
there.
oh,
yeah, I might have got
yeah.
swept up.
Oh, the green and the gold and all of it would have
Yeah.
surrounded me, and I may have felt safe. But when asked and when thought about it, and you know, I'm a prayerful gal. When praying about it, I just was like, you're not supposed to be there. I don't think this is yours.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even though I claim Elphie to such a degree, and even though I still
Right.
feel her in my blood, you know, there are places where you're just like, I don't think I'm meant to be in that room at that moment.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's what it felt like to me.
You know what's interesting, Steph, because you were talking about the muscle memory in your body. So you stand in a way and blah, blah, blah. That same muscle memory carries the pain of the memories that are painful.
Well,
Yeah.
damn it.
So-
You say
so-
pain, and it just is instant. It wells
Yeah.
up.
So just it was still so raw at that moment, but
Yeah.
it also shows how important it is that you got to dig into your body, because it's not just those huge traumatic moments that live in us. It's all of those moments. I mean, every time you
Sure.
stub your toe, your body remembers, and
Yeah.
it carries it
Mhm.
forever, right? So that's probably part of why it was
I
so
agree.
in your body, and you thought, if I stand out here, I'm not just going to feel the notes and where they sit and the joy.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm going to relive and re-experience, of course.
and you do, like, on the
Mhm.
whole, like, you really feel it. So
Yeah. And
I
that's
get that.
got to
I
be a
get that
tricky thing to
choice.
navigate in life, where like
where it's everywhere.
Yeah,
almost.
and you have these two gays hitting you up to talk about it for an hour, like decades after the fact, you know?
Everywhere. The posters at Penn Station, the T-shirts at every
Mhm.
airport that I go to.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. I am reminded, and I can easily slip into the what ifs, what could have
Yeah.
beens. But I really do believe, you know, you will get what is yours, and what
Yes.
chapter of this, what stage of this was mine, was exactly right with
And
my
had it
husband.
been at some other time, you may not have been emotionally
I
or
wasn't.
mature enough to handle what was
Mhm.
coming. You know, you don't
No.
know. So
Oh,
you
Mary
just have
Lee,
to
I
be happy with
wasn't.
wherever it took you from where it did.
I had such a great
Mhm.
privilege to be, you know, in that original company, putting it together at 820 Broadway and witnessing all of the ebbs and flows of energies and egos and ideas. And, you know, creating a musical is not for the faint of heart. It is
Yeah.
just not. I think
Mhm.
people may misunderstand the joys that are experienced are high. I mean, the highs are highs. The lows are lows. And
They're
we've talked
equal.
about this.
It's equal and opposite.
And we've talked about this many times, like the catch-22 of being an artist and having like your vulnerable self, the most
Yeah.
open-hearted person, and yet we're being asked to be thick-skinned. And I don't know still, as a grown-ass woman, how to marry those two. Where have you felt the most insecure? Where and when?
I mean, baseline, I am such an insecure person in all aspects of life, I think. I think currently, like, I'm in a new position at work that I think I might be a little young, stereotypically, to be doing. And I think that has been a big source of insecurity in this past, like, 6 months era that I've been in. But it's also, on that other hand, been very validating to be like, okay, I'm doing it and doing it well. So that is nice. And I need to stop doubting myself, I think, is a huge issue that I deal with.
Yep. Self-imposed. It's always, we're so noisy up there.
we all
It's
do it.
always-
Yeah.
Kevin?
I actually was so insecure when we were starting this podcast, because I think I was feeling a lot of, as somebody who kind of stepped away from my place in the theater community, I didn't want to be perceived as like elbowing my way back in, or like, oh, here's Kevin, he wants, you know, to be the center of attention with his podcast. Like, and so I feel like it took me probably like a year of doing it to feel like I'm best at this when I'm just me, when I'm just not trying to like put on an interview hat or trying to like when I can just sit and be with my friend Quincy and chit chat like we're on the train home from a show, and then bring someone else in, like that feels good. Once I start thinking of it as like, this is a hangout, this is just like we're being social with people, is when I feel like that insecurity kind of shed.
And listeners know that, I think. Once they feel how comfortable we are all, that's not a sentence. We all are, then they sit back and go, oh, yeah, we're just joining in on the circle or in the conversation, as opposed to, going, oh, this feels awkward, which
that's one of
a
the
lot of these conversations can become.
That's one of my favorite comments when people say, I just feel like I'm like hanging out in the car with you guys. And, we're all just in this. I love when people say that, because then you feel like you did your job,
totally.
Really nice.
I mean, I still can't listen back to the episodes we do. I do one quick listen, to see like where I'm going to cut the social videos. And after that, I have to be like, and it's like difficult for me to sit through it.
Oh, that's interesting. Sometimes, I mean, I do all of the editing, and in the very beginning, I used to cut myself out. I remember that.
Interesting.
It was all Steph, because I was just like, But it was fascinating though, because then when I had to start thinking about like, what's my problem here? And when I was acting, and someone would say to me, "Go out and do this curtain speech, do a little curtain speech," I would break out in hives. I'd be like, please don't make me. I can't go out there. I'm fine being a character. Please don't make me be myself. So I had to get a grip on like, why can't I be myself?
Right.
And I can only allow myself to be who I am in front of very specific small groups of people that I very deeply trust. The interesting thing that I find about change is whenever we look at these things that feel so mammoth about ourselves that we need to shift, once you step through the fear and make the shift, it's such a tiny little shift. It's so tiny. And you're like, that was it?
Right.
That was all I had to do.
Right.
And I made it so big. It's like when you avoid conversations that you feel might be difficult, and then you have them and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, what's the problem? Fear is false, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. And we build it up in our brain, no matter what it's about. And it all feels bigger to break through. But once you take that step, that courageous step, it's like the shift is tiny.
Well, and most of the time, what we're fearing is, what are other people going to think?
Exactly. Right.
Which is not what they're saying anyway. No one is
one's looking.
We're second guessing that. So I find that a lot of the time I feel the most successful, which is so weird, if I don't mess up, as opposed to I did a great job. So even that flipping of language, don't take the negative. You weren't negative, as opposed to you were actually something wonderful, right? That critique in and of itself is a battering of ourselves. Oh, good. You didn't F up the lyrics. Oh, good. You actually sang that note, as opposed to that was really magical the way you soared. You know what I mean? Isn't that so strange? That's how we monitor success, is by not messing up.
Works. Yeah.
And only our own.
When I was raising my son, I read like, every child book there was. And I remember reading, it takes 100 positive statements to undo one negative statement to a child.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think they say that in Pretty Woman too, when they're in bed together. Just
hardwired to see the worst, and even almost to make trouble when things are going well.
Yeah. And I think doing this podcast, honestly, has helped me a lot with that, where I am inherently I'm always concerned with how others are perceiving me, and I'm trying to put the best image of myself out there as possible. And doing this podcast was a big source of like, okay, this is inherently nerdy and geeky and cringy, and what are like the musical theater gays going to be whispering about us and whatnot. But just seeing how much it resonates with people by us truly just being our like weirdest selves has been very validating.
Embrace the nerd, baby.
Embrace the nerd. I'm about to be so nerdy. So all the innuendos and outuendos. I'm so mad at myself right now. Okay, let's go back to nerdiness though. Do you guys remember, what did you think or feel when you first saw or heard Defying Gravity?
So I was in this musical theater class in the 8th grade, and we did an exercise where you had to perform a song as a monologue, that classic theater acting exercise.
That's right.
And this girl did Defying Gravity, but her monologue was about animal rights and politics, and was like so serious that I was like,
she wrote her own instead.
Yeah, like I think she took the themes of Wicked and just wrote a monologue. So kind of missed the brief, but I was like, what is this musical about? So I went and bought Just Defying Gravity on iTunes and listened to it. fell in love, was in Hawaii. So I looked up the script of Wicked and then purchased the whole soundtrack and read the script. And when I got to the moment where a song would happen, I would listen to the song and worked my way through that. And then I discovered bootlegs online. And one day, a Defying Gravity bootleg popped up in my recommended. It was Eden Espinosa in LA in 2006, I believe. And I had not even thought that maybe the witch actually flies at the end. So it gets to that portion and she rises and I flipped out from a bootleg.
Yeah.
And then I got really into the world of Wicked bootlegs, trading, all of it. But that was my inciting incident.
Theater magic.
I saw the show about a year after it opened. And so I had seen the production image of her up in the air. But at that point, there weren't a ton of bootlegs available because it was
fresh.
It was fresh. It had been one cast, and it was just starting to get replacements. And I just don't think I was immersed in that culture at all. And so the first time I saw it happening was seeing it live. And I remember, and my mom can attest to this, I just remember like leaning forward in my seat, getting as close as I could to it. It was one of those things where it exceeded the wildest expectation that I could have had. It's like I couldn't have imagined that it would look anything like that or feel anything like that. And being in the room and feeling the subwoofers under, making the room vibrate and seeing the lights, move around her. And it just totally seeing it in person for the first time it floored me.
So seeing the cathedral lighting by Kenneth Posner, Kenny, and then Eddie's on deck and he's helping Adina go up and the cast is out in the house. So this is in San Francisco and we're watching this all tech and all the elements come together, mainly for safety reasons. So the house lights were up on us, but the magic we were all gasping and we thought, this is going to change how Act One's end. Usually an 11 o'clock number like this is in the second half and you're still tingling by the time you leave any musical production because of an epic song that happens, right before the end of the play. But to do this and to have everybody feeling chills or crying or whatever emotion is brought up carry into intermission, that to me was literal theater magic. The way you can formulate and put together a musical theater piece and have the first act punctuated in that way, I thought was transforming modern day musical theater because it was undeniable. Everybody, when you would stand in line at the bathroom at intermission, it was just you had a different experience and everybody then was connecting in line going, wasn't that unbelievable? And it just got everybody back into their seats for Act Two. And it's like it was a continuation of the play, this sort of communal excitement for this number.
Do you remember if there was another technical execution of Defying Gravity before the Cherry Picker, or was it always the Cherry Picker?
Always the Cherry Picker. Yeah. The only thing that that they tried on tour to switch because they could not make a hole in the stage was the No Good Deed.
Yeah.
And that was, I think I was the only one where they tried to hook me up and fly me through the proscenium and land me down with the monkeys as a distraction and unhooking me, which we know that did not go well.
Yeah. Had you had done it successfully once or twice before it happened, or literally the first time?
Literally, it was, we were going to have our first preview in Toronto and it was the night before and they had released me and they said, get into your street clothes. And then at the very last moment, they were like, we are going to run the No Good Deed flying entrance one more time, Steph. Can you just come and put on Act Two dress? Let's do it in real time. And our team was tired. I mean, the tech crews are just working so hard and we were tired. And my gut told me don't do it. And yet I just didn't use my voice as a grown woman to say, I'll come early tomorrow when everybody's fresh. And at that point, they kept, every time I would leave and they'd continue to rehearse, they would use one of our stagehands or they would use a sandbag that was at my, kind of estimated weight. And it never really went well. Like the sandbag would hit the stage and they were like, okay, she still has legs. So let's afford, another 3 feet for legs. That didn't work. Or they'd use a stagehand who was much larger than I. And so I had to dingle, dangle, dingle. And they're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And it was all automated. It wasn't manually done, which I would have preferred.
Yeah.
So no, when we did the test, that's when
that was
one
it.
of my cords came undone at my lower back, and then they kept pressing the button on the automation machine, which then made it hiccup and do terrible things, and that was it. So an audience never saw it. All right, we've arrived at the 5 questions, but just before, a word from our sponsors. If we were to walk into your closet, Kevin, is there a piece of jewelry or a garment, something that you will never get rid of because of the memories it holds?
I have a hoodie that I bought after I finished the marathon, the year that I ran it. I do not fit in it anymore, but I will always have it.
You need to replace your hoodie with a Love Where You Are Now Stages podcast hoodie.
Yes.
Just saying. Available now on our website.
Doesn't even need to replace, just to hang alongside, right?
Addition,
Both.
yes.
That's right. That's right.
I have blankie that started off as a full-size blanket that I had as a baby, and it's
now
like
it's a handkerchief.
Now it's like a scrap. I used to sleep with it every night because it's waffle texture too, and I have like conditioned myself to need a waffle texture on me to fall asleep. But in these later years, it's gotten very tattered. So now I just have it folded up next to my bed, and I kind of feel it when I want to feel it. But it's disgusting.
We also have Love Where You Are Now blankies on the website.
Oh my God, Mary Lee, he just opened up his soul to us as an infant. Okay, go. Second question, ML.
Okay. Kevin, describe your perfect sandwich.
Ooh, I love like a bougie grilled cheese with like lots of like a couple different types of cheese, maybe a little bit of something on the bread so that when it gets toasted, it's nice and flavorful.
We get a lot of grilled cheeses on that.
I love grilled cheese.
Mine's is basil focaccia, chicken cutlet, prosciutto, mozzarella, balsamic reduction, and red peppers.
Yes.
Toasted.
Yeah.
Quincy, that is a very Jersey Shore sandwich.
Oh,
I love an Italian sandwich.
oh man, that's real good. All right. Quincy, you're first this time. Is it desert, mountain, or beach? And why?
Ooh, I think I'm gonna shock people and go mountain. I like the solitude that it offers. I like that you can do nature if you want, but you don't have to. The beach, I think, has a tendency to follow you wherever you go, which I don't love. I love getting my beach in short spurts, but long term, I think mountain.
Okay.
Yeah. I think same for me. I say, or I would say mountain because it feels the most calming to me. A beach feels very energizing, and a desert, I can't say it calls to me, but a mountain feels rejuvenating and restorative.
Quincy, you wake up tomorrow morning with a superpower. What is it?
I had a superpower. I would want to read people's minds, and I think I would live to regret it. But I think that could be a cool thing if you could master it and not let it affect you to have.
I would want the superpower. I think I'm making this up, but I would love to like mute the world.
The exact opposite.
Oh my God.
I
didn't even know I
it's
wanted
so
that
loud.
superpower, but I want that.
Like I'm somebody like I have big like noise cancelers, and I walk around with no music, just silence, and it's so nice.
Have you ever parasailed?
No.
Oh, it will be your heaven. That's what it is. I can't explain it. Well, it's not jumping out of a plane, Mary Lee. Listener, she's frantically shaking her head. She's like, she's jarring at her lips. But you're on you've got the parasail attached to you. The boat goes, you go off the landing, and you're just floating in the clouds. It is a silence like I can't explain because you all of your senses know all the noises you should be hearing, and you're
Right.
not using any sort of technology to cancel it out. It's just nature all of a sudden envelops you, and you
Ah.
are in a cocoon of quiet, like I can't explain.
Is there a heights anxiety
I
with
had an
that though?
entirely
Not for
different
me.
experience.
Not,
I went
wouldn't
up.
either, yeah.
My
Mhm.
85-year-old mother made me go and do it with her, and I literally passed out. I'm in the middle, holding on like this. I'm like, I kept losing consciousness because I was so
Why?
horrified. Because I don't like heights. I do not.
Oh, well,
I
there
don't
you go. That's
ski,
the
I don't age
disclaimer.
no. And I was like, my mother's like, "Wee," and I'm like, okay, this is not fun for me.
That's
I
the disclaimer.
literally
then.
almost passed out. I had to stop myself. I was like, if I pass out, I might slide through and die. Like that's all that's the only thing that kept me from passing out. I hated it.
Anyway, so if you like heights, parasailing is for you. All right, last question. Kevin, I'm going to throw it at you first. If you were a nail
Okay.
polish color, what color is it? And what's the cheeky little name of that color? I
I
feel like you've
just
heard this
got-
question. You said
I
you're
have heard
I
the
think we
question.
planned
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
I have heard the question, but also this is a fresh answer because over the weekend I got this new nail polish,
Oh, I
and
see
it's like a lovely baby pink, but it's
Mm.
like special Halloween nail polish, definitely meant for children.
Okay.
So it glows in the dark, but it glows green. And
Oh.
so I would be this color, but I would rename it Pink Glows
Go.
Good with Green.
Jesus Christ. You're
So good.
How perfect is that?
I mean, real good.
I was expecting it to glow pink, and I like turned the lights off to go to bed, and I was like,
It's green.
what a
Wow.
surprise.
Who makes this? We got to put a link in our thing.
It is Sally Hansen, Insta
Oh,
Dry.
Sally Hansen.
Instant.
She's stepping it up, Sally.
Quincy, you're screwed. You can't follow that.
I
No.
know. Kevin always does this to me.
Sorry,
Pink
dude.
glows good with green.
Mine will not be as thought out as Kevin's. I would be a chrome gold.
Okay.
I love that.
That feels
Chrome gold
signature to you.
gel. Yeah. And I would call it Slay Era, I think. I recently bought a hat that says Slay Era, and I am obsessed with it.
I
That's
love
amazing.
that answer.
That is a good answer. We have to go back to Sally Hansen, though. What's the real name of the polish so we can tell our listeners?
The real name is A Scare is Born, which I think
well-
it should be
Oh,
A
'cause green.
Scar is Born,
A scar. Why a scar?
right? If it's like Halloween, like a star is born,
Yeah.
a scar is born, but
Uh-huh.
it's
But a
it's
scare, 'cause green is
scare
scary.
born.
Okay. Guys, this was delightful. You were
This
delightful.
This is
so
so
good.
much fun.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for having
much.
us, you
So
guys.
much. Yeah.
so
And
glad
then
you
we'll
came
touch
on.
base as to when I'll pop on again.
Yes.
I don't know what
Yes.
we can talk about.
Well,
but
just
we'll
having this
do it.
discussion, I was like, oh, there's more to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. What a pleasure.
Very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Happy National Wicked Day.
Okay.
What?
Well, they're ridiculously adorable.
I know. And there is something really unifying when people are obsessed about the same thing. Not necessarily fanatical, but when they both, it's an understood language. You know, when you love something and share that love of something so
It's
deeply, like the
contagious.
two of them, it is
Yeah.
contagious.
And
I
I
use the
think
word
it's-
infection, but
Yeah.
contagious, I guess, is better.
It's an infection. But it goes back to what we were saying about like just being yourself. Just when you grant yourself that permission to just be your nerdy, dorky self and say like the stupid things that bring you joy, it gives other people permission to behave the same way. And
Yeah,
that's what I really like about them. I like them a
Yeah.
lot.
I do too. And they kind of laugh about themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something so delicious when you don't take yourself, I think I'm just repeating what you said, but you don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you make everybody comfortable. I certainly knew I was comfortable when I was on the podcast. It's interesting that I felt safer because it wasn't that long ago that I was on their podcast. I'm going to say less than 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, but I didn't feel like I could offer some of the things that I said today regarding my
interesting.
limitations of being on, you know, the yellow brick road and that
Now,
whole
is
event
that due to
happened.
your personal growth or is that due to now you feel like you know them a little better so you feel safer?
Maybe both. Maybe both. And I may go to sleep and go, oh, Stephanie, you just revealed that you did not have enough grace to be with these women that you consider sisters. But it's not a referendum on who they are. It
No.
really is a referendum on where I
Where you were.
was That's
And
right.
again, you know what that does? It gives people permission to learn to be okay with the parts of themselves that are still trying to heal.
I'm still trying to heal. There's a preservation there, right? And you said the word pain, and immediately my eyes started to well. Yes.
Yeah.
And I can absolutely recognize all of the gifts, all of the blessings that Wicked has given me. I can recognize how lucky I was to be at the very beginning of creating this worldwide mega blockbuster. But I think there might always be the, gosh, what would have happened if? And it's not a daily longing to exchange my life for the what could have been. But certainly it just, Wicked is everywhere. So it's not like I'm ever going to forget its place in our pop culture, and especially in the American musical theater. It's just everywhere.
Have you ever heard of EMDR?
Yes.
You need to do that for this.
I think so.
Release it, rearrange the mirror neurons in your brain. So when you think about it, it goes to a new place.
I think so.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Why not?
All right. Well, this was so much fun, and we got to go.
Okay.
Because we got
Happy
another
Wicked Day.
Happy Wicked Day.
All right. I love you so much. Goodbye.
How do they say goodbye in Oz?
Oh gosh.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Wasn't it good to see me? Goodbye.
Bye. Stages Podcast is produced by Stephanie J. Block and Mary Lee Fairbanks in association with iHeartRadio. It can be heard on the iHeartRadio podcast and iHeartRadio Broadway or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Please join our cast by signing up at stagespodcast.net, listening, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. It all makes such a difference in getting the word out. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again soon.